What's going on, guys? Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Okay Now What show. Episode 3 is Bobby and I coming back from a hiatus here, but lots of fun, lots of cool things that we discussed, including Brene Brown, Ed Milet, and some friends that we're really proud of. So hope you guys enjoy this one as much as we enjoyed making it. Thanks so much. Appreciate the support.
Once you get the people, that's the hardest part about business. People are the hardest part about business.
Yeah.
It's not selling.
People are the worst. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right, man. Welcome back.
Yeah. Was I gone? I was gone.
Yeah.
I was gone for a long time. It's been a long couple weeks.
Yeah, you were in Italy. Last time we talked, you dropped your bomb okay moment.
Yep.
Literally dropped the mic.
Yeah.
And left the country.
Yeah, and then ate a lot of pizza and pasta and felt really good about myself.
Good, man. Yeah.
And lost weight somehow. I don't know how that happened.
Preservatives.
Yeah, it's got to be.
They don't have that there.
I know.
They don't do that.
The wine is organic.
Yeah.
It was all good. I did avoid red meat, so that's good.
Did you, when you were there, everybody says you don't get hangovers from the wine. Did that happen to you?
I had no hangover.
Yeah.
Except for the night I flew in and slept till 11 a.m. and missed everything we had planned for that morning.
Oh, what was it?
It was like we were going to do tastings at all these Michelin star restaurants, and it was starting at 11. And we're like, okay, we'll just go to bed early. We'll go to bed at like 10, 11 the night before. When we get there, I think we went to bed at like maybe midnight. But I slept from midnight to 11 a.m.
You clearly needed it.
Yeah. So
you were posting all that. You posted a picture from the treadmill.
Yeah. First thing I did when I got there is I ran a 5K. Before I had any pasta, that was the last 5K I did because we walked like 2 5Ks every single day.
Yeah.
Minimum.
It's funny. If someone asked me to walk, like...
That's why I lost weight.
Yeah. Someone said, hey, I want you to walk 15 miles today. I'd be like, get the hell out of here. I'm
Yeah.
not walking. But then you're like, hey, go walk 15 miles around all of Italy. You don't even think about it. You're just like, you look at your pedometer and you're like, holy crap. Like,
there's no way I'm driving in that traffic.
Yeah, that's right. That's like when we went to Disney World and in a single day we had put on like 23 miles in one day. And I wasn't even sore.
I don't believe you.
Oh, it was awesome. I was like, we just did a marathon. But you don't realize because it's a small world after all, and the teacups are all
Somebody's
over the place.
calling me
Oh, man.
in the
it's
middle of a podcast.
Well, welcome back. Yeah. Okay, now what show? Episode 3, obviously, tequila's in hand.
Yes. Now I'll tell you what. It was needed. After all the shit that I was going through those past couple weeks, those weeks before, being able to get away and disconnect from all of it and not worry about it, think about it. I'm telling you, being able to relieve that stress was much more healing than me sitting around and worrying about how am I going to fix this.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting too? Yeah, because like I had said, like I know while you were gone, I was like, oh man, I got the podcast all edited, and I'd send it to you just thinking like, oh, he's not going to read it, but maybe he'll check his emails, and then nothing, and then send you like a direct, oh man, on Instagram, I hope you guys are having a blast, and then nothing. I was like, what am I doing? Why am I trying to get Bobby to
I was not paying attention.
To come back to America world so that he can get stressed out again?
Yeah, let's do this. Episode 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This one is going to be the best one yet.
That's what I was told.
Okay. Yeah.
But
me too.
You told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last time we were here, you had come back from
I think the Rise Together conference with the Hollises. Yes.
Yeah, Rachel Hollis. So since then, I've kind of been, because I want to expand on like my social influencers.
Yeah.
And like thought leaders.
Yeah.
And through like digging through the rabbit hole, I came across Brene Brown. Have you listened to any of her stuff or followed any of her stuff?
My wife is kind of obsessed with her.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So apparently so is my wife, and I had no idea.
It's because they talk.
Yeah. They spend way too much time together, I think.
Yeah.
But it turns out I'm stumbling upon this thought leader, and I'm like, I pride myself on being on the cutting edge.
I'm pretty sure your wife and my wife both went to a conference with her when she was speaking.
So I'm sitting there talking like I'm this Nostradamus of following and finding influencers. And I'm like, Yeah. So this friend of ours, he was talking to me about. He's like, "Have you heard of Brene Brown? She's got some really interesting stuff." So I started digging into it, and then I'm like shocked by some of her stuff, really influential stuff. Like she's got the number 4 TED Talk of all time around shame, or she's got one about vulnerability, and just awesome things. And then I'm like, oh, Brittany, you've got to listen to this. Like you've got this. Have you heard of this woman? She's like, yeah. I told you about her last year when we went to that dinner and I got her book and I brought it home and said, you would really like this. And you're like, yeah, that's nice.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But she's got some incredible stuff.
Yeah.
Really competitive, like really compelling things about.
I think her new book is on leadership. Shayna's reading that right now.
Yeah. It's awesome to me that you can stumble upon stuff like that at moments when you feel like you need it the most, because I'm a big fan of like Simon Sinek, who talks about empathy, and I love to lead with empathy. I think it's just it's something that's lacking so much because we focus so much on revenue and we focus so much on the money that leads a company, and we feel that money leads companies into greatness. And I don't believe that. I believe that the people that drive that opportunity are what leads a company into greatness. And but I always felt
money is a byproduct of that culture and the people.
Brene Brown's conversation, if you haven't listened to it, around vulnerability is such a moving thing that I feel like goes hand in hand with empathy. And there's so many components to what makes a great team, but you combine empathy and vulnerability. And these last couple of months in this phase of my career, I've been juggling a lot of old things, because I'm back in oil and gas, obviously, and with knowledge of things that I know. And combining that with new things where it's still tech. So that's a mixture of both.
Yep.
And old things and new things coming together. It's been a lot of like juggling from a mind perspective. Execution wise, it's interesting, but there comes a point where old mentalities and new methodologies seem to clash. And her communication around shame and vulnerability was something that really resounded with me, because I felt like, because I was an expert in oil and gas, sorry, I shouldn't say expert, because I had experience in the oil and gas sector, and I was still learning from a position of tech, it put me in this weird dichotomy where I was like, I should know these things, but I feel like I can't speak up at certain moments within my own space at work. And it's hard to be a leader and be in that mindset, because everybody looks to you to make all the decisions and they think you've got it all figured out. And as I've already mentioned before, nobody has it figured out. But I had to immediately go to that space, and it just echoed in my mind, use this opportunity to exude vulnerability. Mm-hmm. And if you've led your team properly, they'll appreciate that and be empathetic about it. And the unity that comes from that is what... Yeah.
If you have good people, that's what's going to happen.
So that's exactly what happened. Like, there's been a few moments now where I've flat out put my hand up and just said, hey, I have no idea what's going on. Can somebody explain to me what's up? And then sure enough, everybody stops for a second, looks around, and there's almost like this calming moment where everybody stops realizing that they're not all experts, and they all just sit around, look at each other and go, yeah, good, because I don't have a clue either.
They're all talking about something and nobody knows what they're talking about.
Absolutely. Digging into Brene Brown. And I know that Rachel Hollis is huge right now for a lot of people. She's really...
They're good friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're leaders in the Texas area. So after we had recorded our last session, I was like, all right, who is this Rachel Hollis? What's so awesome about her? So I went on your Ed Milet podcast.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
highly recommend Ed Milet podcast. It's great. It'll get you going. He has a much better studio than our Studio B right here, because his overlooks his beach at his beach house.
Yeah, where is he? Malibu or something?
Which is amazing to me. So sometime we need to do an Okay Now What podcast on, okay, we want to start a podcast, now what? Because we have gone through so many different places and trying to figure it out. And Ed Milet gets on there. Yeah. He sets up in his backyard and is like, okay, I'm going to do it right here. Yeah. You can hear like the wind blowing in the back, the seagulls and stuff. And he's got like echoes. Nobody cares.
It is a lot of moving parts to get your schedule and my schedule. And we've got these two great guests that we're trying to get on and get their schedule. And then we get another guest. And then that guest has got a class in Cedar Park. And then like, we're just... We got to get it.
And then we got our third guest, and we're like, we don't have a microphone cord for this professional setup.
For this amazing setup, we've got 3 mics, 2 cords. Yeah, there's something there. After our episode, I was like, I got to find out what's going on with this. So I got on the Ed Milet podcast because he had her on there. And I started listening to this thing. And so I was trying to find out, like, again, I always love to find out, okay, what is that mechanism that this person projects that everybody wants to listen to? One of the things that I thought was amazing is that most thought leaders don't hit on this, but there was something that she said in that, again, Ed Milet show. Listen to that Rachel Hollis episode, but she goes, this is so awesome. She's like, well, the first thing that I had is like people were starting to reach out to me via Instagram or whatever and like DMing me and being like, hey, how do I do with my kid who's like got addiction issues? Or like, how do I talk to my significant other about this and that? Yeah. And she full on said, I thought this is great. She's like, why the hell are you DMing me? Like, first of all, don't DM an actual stranger. Like I was really impressed because most thought leaders are kind of wanting to be in that mindset of, well, I've got the answers. Feel free to reach out. I'm an open book. I'm happy to help. But she was like, don't ask me that. I don't know. Like, I'm not a professional psychologist.
Yeah. She's super real. Her and her husband, both super real people.
Yeah.
In their public life. They're very, very real with all of that.
Yeah.
Trust me, went to their marriage conference, things I cannot talk about on the air that they talked about. Yeah.
I mean, there's
super real. Super real. Just trust me. You can ask anybody that went to that conference. They'll tell you, super real people.
Why do you think it is that people feel that the content that they receive, that it opens this book to treat them as a therapist?
People want somebody to talk to. Everybody wants somebody to talk to.
I feel like there's a lot of people out there that have like mental paralysis around the ability to execute and make a decision. I mean, I've done it too. I've reached out to thought leaders and just asked them questions about whatever.
Yeah. I have not personally reached out to any quote unquote thought leaders in the space. I don't know. I just, I know how busy people can get, and I just don't think that somebody like that's going to have time.
Yeah.
And that's just a me thing. But that's also a problem that I have also that I'm trying to work through is going and looking towards other people for guidance or mentorship. That's always been something that I've just kind of, I don't know, maybe it was the way I was raised or how I've developed, but I just basically avoid mentorship or guidance, and because I'm like, I'm going to do this by myself. I've done everything by myself, not necessarily by myself, but self-made. Me and Shayna, we can do it. We don't need anybody else.
Yeah,
and that obviously that's a flawed mindset, and I understand that because having people that have gone through the same things but are at a different level, they can have that conversation with you and guide you through to get to the next step that you want to get to and be a mentor in that space is huge, which is where some of those thought leaders come into play. But so what are we talking about? That was a huge intro.
Okay, so y'all went to Italy. What was that? What was the best part of that?
Just exploring, seeing new places,
different mindsets out there.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
because you come at it from a tourist perspective and you want to do all these things and you're in a specific mindset. You don't necessarily know what mindset everybody's in because everybody's in the tourist industry. So they're all catering to you to where it may feel like it's a different mindset, but it's really the profession.
You're back now. Road to $1 billion. What's up? What happens after you go on vacation and come back?
Yeah. No, I can definitely talk about this. So if you heard last time, the whole thing, I have top 3% most clogged arteries of anybody my age. It's genetic. It's something I have to live with and manage.
Yeah.
I'm on, and you can have opinions about this, right or wrong. I've gone back and forth and, decided what's probably going to be best for me, but I'm on the highest dosage of statins and I take a bunch of other stuff to just counteract any negative effects that'll give me.
Yeah.
So I have a regimen in place for that. I work out every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I changed my wake up schedule. I wake up at 4 a.m. every single day. Work out at 5 because I can't wake up at 4:30 and work out at 5. It doesn't work for me. I have to be up a little bit longer than that before I work out.
Yeah.
So I wake up at 4. I have a little bit of coffee. Do some good reading. Right now I'm reading Tribe of Mentors. Yes.
Is
by Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss, yeah.
Amazing. Brene Brown is in that book too.
Is she?
And along with everybody else you've ever heard of. And then I go do my Orange Theory workout for an hour, and then get home, before the kids get up, get ready, do that, get ready for the day, take them to school, whatever. That's turned into my morning routine, but I have to do that so that I can actually get a workout, and I'm doing that. I'm working out every single day. On top of that, because, I said I've got this heart issue, but at the same time, my goal, I'm going to be a billionaire. That's how I'm a fixer. How do I fix this? Like, it's genetic. I got my blood test back from pre-statins from right when I got all these tests done. My cholesterol was perfect.
Yay.
According to all the measurements.
That's good.
My blood pressure was perfect. EKG was perfect. Everything was perfect. If I had not had the scan done, the CT scan, would have known nothing and would have just kept going, which is fine because there's nothing I could have done physically or with my diet to really change those things, which is why I'm on statins, by the way, trying to get that even lower because it's genetic. It is a genetic thing that's causing plaque to build up in my arteries. My fix for this genetic problem that I have, how do I fix this for me so that I can live as long as possible? Well, I need resources to be able to do that effectively,
right?
And be able to monitor it, stay healthy. I'll do whatever I need to do. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. I will take the pills. I will work out consistently, be healthy, eat healthy, and I want to live a really long time. I want to see my kids have kids. I want to be around for all of that. To do that, I got to live past my 50s, make that my life so I can be here as long as possible. And then on top of that, I want to be able to have the resources to be able to do that for me. Okay. At the same time, essentially, it's going to impact 1 out of every 2 of my kids.
Yeah.
There's a 50-50 shot. So I want to be able to protect them through putting money towards research or new treatments, whatever this looks like for my children, so they don't have to go through the same thing. And then even longer term, my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, etc., want to be able to figure out a way to stop this in its track. So everybody has a game plan.
Yeah. And
then a byproduct of that is it's gonna be something that'll impact the global community, right? Curb cardiovascular disease for healthy people, at least. Come on, right? But I'm not 300 pounds. I'm not 200 pounds. Right?
Yeah, that's such a trip to me. It's so weird to me how this has come about. I mean, obviously, this is something that it looks like this story from the past has kind of written into this place. But, like, it's so crazy to me because in the short time I've known you, I've never known you to be unhealthy. So, I mean, to get to that place and be dealt with those cards, like, it's just... Yeah.
So what's my plan to abundance to be able to impact this change? Well, I know that I potentially have a time limit for when that needs to happen.
Yeah.
Just because this is genetic and I don't know the speed at which it's going to impact me.
Okay.
So let's say that's by the time I'm 55, whatever. I want to, or by my 50s, I want to be able to impact this at a very high level. So I need to have an abundant amount of resources by the time I'm 50.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a long way away. I'm 32. So that's 18 years?
Yep.
Seems like a long time, but really it's not a long time. Hopefully it's a long time, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
18 years. Gosh, my kids will be out of the house. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to think about that. Your kid will be out of the house.
Yeah. Hopefully. Damn kid gets a job. Lazy kids.
Yeah.
He's not even born yet. And I'm already like, get a job.
Yeah.
Get it together.
So what I figured out is, okay, I need to 10x or more my net worth, overall net worth every 5 years. Yeah, I'm making a lot of assumptions right now, like based on what I think things are worth. Really, it's not even that. It's like, okay, in 5 years, I need to figure out a way to have a net worth of 10 million. So it doesn't matter where my baseline is. That's what I need to be in 5 years.
Yeah.
So that the next 5 years, I can 10x to 100 million and then $1 billion. You may look at that and be like, well, that's going to be hard. Well, okay, probably. Yeah, it's probably going to be hard, but you have to build the plan to be able to get there. Going year to year, I know that I have to supplement my income, set up businesses in such a way that by the end of this next year, I can have a net worth of, I think, $1.6 million. I need to figure out a way to do that. That is a huge thing. It's not like I have money in the bank right now, outside of paying month-to-month bills and then jumping. I have to make some big jumps every single year.
Yeah.
But I've ingrained this into myself in such a way that...
That's all right, though. The thing about it is it's all timing, all this stuff. I mean, it's all relative. You have to obviously... you guys are the ones that instilled the whole concept of you have to envision it and you have to literally put it out there. You have to make it materialize in front of your face in some way, shape, or form. Dream boards, whatever it may be, right?
Right. And you got to be single-minded in that. You got to surround yourself with the right people and make it happen. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to hit the goals that we need to hit.
Yeah.
We're going to get to the end of next year and hit that 1.6. A lot of that's going to have to be businesses, like business worth, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's the only way to grow that a lot of times. There's not a lot of billionaires out there that just have $1 billion in cash laying around.
Yeah.
It's all net worth of businesses.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that, and then I got to jump it. And I think we figured out year 2 to year 5 is probably going to be the hardest steps we got to take, because we're going to have to start another business. We're going to have to start something up that's able to generate a net worth of $10 million. What does that look like? There's not a lot of, and once you hit $10 million, you go from small business to medium-sized business. There are maybe 5 real estate teams in the whole world, residential real estate, that have reached that level.
So you're talking about you need to diversify.
Absolutely. And it's going to be a necessity. And Shayna understands that. I understand it. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of hustling to get something going. But what other choice do I have? And yeah, I could just sit around and enjoy the moments, and which I do. But just, I get all that kind of advice. Don't stress out so much. Don't do this. But I'm not doing this only for me. My kids are going to have to go through this shit if I don't fix it.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to live with one day, me not being around because I felt like I was going to spend more of my time not trying to fix this. Mm-hmm. And again, me, I'm a fixer. I'm going to fix this. And it doesn't matter how much money it's going to take. I'm going to make sure that the money is there. Those resources are there to do that. And I have to come from abundance for my family, abundance for everybody else who's going through this, to impact this issue, period, for me and everybody else. And I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Good plan, bad plan?
No, awesome. Obviously, anytime something motivates you, I think one of the things that, I've never built a $10 million business. So,
what?
Yeah, not been a part of a bunch.
Yeah,
been a part of.
You built others.
Yeah, I've built a lot of other businesses to be up with millions of dollars, which is something that I think about quite often when people say, "Why don't you just do your own?"
Look, man,
you've done it already for so many others.
10 million is just the next 5 years. Then I got to go 100 million.
Well, yeah, and that's just it. I think that number one, I honestly think make sure that you don't try to do it all alone. I think that that's something that you already talked about earlier, that you like to do things for yourself. You don't like to invest in mentors and whatever, but don't do it alone. Number one, find those other people that can influentially impact it. Yeah. And help to accelerate it to get that injection. Don't feel you need to do it alone, because then that pressure gets on you and you're not doing it from a place of passion and desire like you are. You end up doing it from a place of fear because you're afraid to fail. And I do think you will miss out on the experience that is the journey of creating this thing if all you're focused on is that end game.
It's funny. Have you read The Alchemist yet?
I have not
read
it yet.
Go read The Alchemist.
I know, you keep telling me that.
It's funny you said that you miss out on the experience of doing that. That was one of the things that Shayna and I, it was the $1 billion lottery, whatever. But then we looked at each other while we're like, do we really want to win this? Because we understand, like you understand that your reward throughout the whole process is not the end goal. That's not your reward. Like if I get $1 billion, that's not my reward. Yeah, it's going to be amazing to fix this issue with me, with my family, whatever. That's going to be amazing. It would be a reward. But the experience to get there is going to be so much more amazing.
Yeah.
And it's gonna build up to that. It's going to be where life is lived, where I spend time with my family. I have all those moments. I grow as a person. Mm-hmm. We grow as a family, have adventures. All of that's going to be out through that whole process of getting to that point.
And the families that you're going to impact and the adventures they're going to have.
And the relationships that are going to be made.
Yeah.
Now, we could go and win $1 billion in the lottery and skip all of that and just, figure it out right now. And then what? All of those experiences and adventures that I would have had in the relationships throughout that time, that would have been amazing, would have been completely missed.
Yeah.
Because I found in the Alchemist, I found the treasure. If you read The Alchemist, highly recommend you read The Alchemist.
Alchemist.
I've told this guy multiple times he needs to read it.
What is The Alchemist?
The Alchemist?
Yeah.
Are we going to do a book report right now?
Well, you don't have to. But I don't have internet access, so otherwise I'd pull up something that I thought was really compelling, which is I posted this thing on LinkedIn that talks about the top 20 realizations you come to as you're getting older, and they're very blunt. And one of them was when you're not living in the moment because you're focused on the end of the end product, you miss the entire purpose of what life is all about.
Yeah, life's about the moments, the experiences, and everything in between.
But have you ever been there? This has been a resounding thing, and I don't know if it's because we're having a child soon or what it is, but there's been this resounding moment that has been recurring in my mind about we were unpacking boxes and getting things ready, and I found this old laptop, and on there was all these old photos, tons of old photos of while I was still living in Canada, and Brittany and my relationship, and all of our friends and all of our travels and all of these things. And it was really great. And you look at those photos and you go back, which is obviously the intent of photos. But then I think about it and I'm when I was in that moment taking this picture, I wasn't really there. I wasn't completely absorbing everything that was around me, what was going on, how important this was, how awesome that moment was. And so I've taken it upon myself recently to be, it doesn't matter if it's great moment, bad moment, even just a life learning moment, to do 6 deep breaths in most moments that I sit there and I'm I really want to soak this in. And I'll stop and I'll just take 6 deep breaths. And suddenly this weird calm comes over you where you just, I don't know, it changes your, it takes you to a different state of mind or an altered state. And I thought it was really impactful. One of the guys that I like to absorb health content from is Aubrey Marcus, and he talks about that. He talks about how important deep breathing is and how it can calm you. And he was the one that was saying 6 deep breaths can take you to a completely different state of mind. If you're panicked or you're stressed or what have you, that's all you need. Deep belly breathing breaths, and breathe out, and it takes you to a completely different place. And you just find that you live. You just get up, you go to bed. You get up, you go to bed. You eat your meals, you go to bed. You say, and then Friday comes, and you're excited for Friday, and then it's Monday again. And get up, you go to bed. And it's just interesting how much we lack the ability to, or choose to lack the ability to actually be in the moments that are really important to us, because we just go through the motions of what we expect everything to do.
Yeah. And I've had, by waking up so early, that's been a thing that I've been trying to focus on, is making sure that I focus myself for the day, whether it's around what I need to do or what I should get out of that day. So part of that is you have your habitual things, your routines, that it's not really you focusing on the moment. It's just you getting to a place. So I have a habitual routine in the morning and at night, so that everything in between, I'm prepared to absorb and focus on. And honestly, it's hard while you're working. It's hard to focus on those moments, but there's a lot of great moments at work too that people just miss. A lot of, because if you go in and you're focusing on being enthusiastic and pouring into everything you're doing on a daily basis and finishing the day successfully, and you're recognizing what those moments were and living that experience and appreciating it, you're going to go so much further. You're going to get so much more joy out of life. But if you just drift through the days, you're going to be in a place where it's going to be difficult for you to get up in the morning, to to go to bed at night. It's just going to be a difficult experience every single day until you get to the weekend, and you're going to be living for the weekend.
Which is so funny. You know why? The weekend is 3 days, 2.5 days long.
2.5 days.
Yeah,
it's 2.
Friday, half day. Come on. Half of the Friday is part of the weekend.
But then half of the Sunday is not.
Don't be silly, Bobby. That's ridiculous. People live for 2 days to enjoy themselves and then kill themselves for 5 days.
And not even kill themselves emotionally and mentally because they're not leaning into what it is that they're doing for a living. They're they're doing that for a living. This is what you're doing to live. You are living this moment. You are living most of your life is spent in your career. You need to experience that.
Yeah.
At the highest level possible.
100%.
And be able to, no matter what it is. I was listening, I'm talking about Ed Milet again.
Yeah.
Listening to, he had a guest on. I forget his name. I'm bad with people's names. The only reason I remember Ed Milet's name is because the podcast is named after him.
Let's call him Bill.
Bill.
So Bill's on Ed's podcast.
Yes. And he was talking about this. He owned a auto body shop and hated it. Hated the auto body shop, hated painting cars. But because he leaned in to that and he chose to go all in with that, and have a positive attitude and everything that he did with it, it opened up doors for him that otherwise would never exist. If he just had gone in there and painted cars and just got customers in and out, the opportunities would not be there. But the opportunity, specifically the opportunity that opened up for him, is he made his first $1 million. His first $1 million because of a client that came in to get their car painted, and he was pouring into that client, having conversations with him, talking about his life, living that moment, building that relationship, being enthusiastic with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And because he did that, that person gave him the opportunity to sell a piece of property or buy a piece of property and split it up. I forget exactly how he did it. And he made his first $1 million because of that conversation right there. Because he chose to do his work. Because if he wasn't doing his work to his fullest capabilities, and if he wasn't enthusiastic about it, and then positive with having conversations with that person, just opening up to them, and to build that relationship, none of this would ever happen. And that's how he made his first $1 million. I think right now he's a 100 millionaire or something like that.
It's easy to be positive outside of your work environment because that's where all your happiness exists typically, right? Simon Sinek talks about how the reason why people, scientifically show up late for work or don't want to go to work is because they don't feel safe at work, right? And they typically don't feel safe because they don't enjoy it, or there's a lot of stress there, a lot of cortisol, So it's interesting how when you have that imbalance, when the majority of your time is spent at the office, 5 days a week, killing yourself let's be perfectly blunt, for a job that if you left, they would replace you in a week. It's a lot. And when that creates an imbalance of 7 days a week, and you are most people take their work home with them, work on the weekends, work on a Sunday. They have 1 day to themselves to actually enjoy themselves. You talk about finding little joys at work. That's probably one of the most rewarding things I like about being a leader is seeing the small wins that come from up and coming people that I love to invest in.
Yeah.
Not the people that force it, not the people that are abrupt with their attempts to win. There's people I think that organically invest in themselves and show and do the hard work and invest emotionally in their own growth. Those are the things that I love. That's what makes me get up and go to work every morning, is because I love watching the smallest thing happen on a manager's face when they're new to the game. They invest so much and they see the return from their investment. That to me is bigger, because I constantly preach, like, what goes on in the four walls of an office is not real life. The most important thing that drives success in a person is what happens outside of the office. You go home, you find peace, you find happiness, you invest in yourself, you do that more than what you do at the office, you'll be happy. And that happiness translates into how you become a leader and how you conduct yourself at your office. And then the cycle begins. Because then when you have great energy, positive energy, people are like, I want to have some of what that person's having, because whatever they're eating, that's what I want to be around.
So along with that, taking that positivity from your personal life, bringing that into your workspace, you're going to draw people towards you. Yeah. Whether it's clients or coworkers or managers or investors, whatever it looks like, people are going to be drawn to you because of your enthusiasm, your attitude, just your overall positivity and how you feel about life. Yeah. Because you have a smile on your face. Yeah. If you're constantly going to work, and I think about this every day because, especially since, I need to make a lot of resources here pretty quick. I have to be able to approach every single day, every single moment in life with that same positivity, that same attitude, that same enthusiasm, not because I'm excited about wherever I am at that point, but because it's going to attract the people to me that I need, because I cannot do this by myself. I understand that I need to help me to get to the places I need to be. And it is hard, but it's hard to be enthusiastic all the time. The great Mo Anderson says, if you act enthusiastic, you will be enthusiastic. Sure. Yeah. And that's a hard coat to put on every morning. She makes everybody stand up and say that over and over and over again with a big smile on her face. And I tell you, this lady's got the biggest smile you've ever seen in your life. Because if you act that way, you will be that way. It's the be do have. Just be enthusiastic. Just do it, and you're eventually going to have it. Yeah. Right. That whole thing applies to so many things. But what you're talking about right now about being positive when you're at your work, and there's a bunch of people that are like, it doesn't do anything. I'll tell you what, if you don't believe that positive energy and like a good attitude impacts people, draws people to you, can change the entire mood of an entire department or company, try walking into a room of people and people are in there and they just got into a giant argument and you walk in and it's quiet. And tell me people have frowns on their face. And tell me you don't feel the like palatable. You can feel that energy. You don't want to be there. Yeah. A client walks into that situation, they don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. And if you're a leader and you walk into that, you don't want to be there. The people that are in that room don't want to be there. The biggest thing you want is you want to get the hell out. If I walk into an office and everybody's just pissed. Yeah. I don't want to be there as a leader. I don't want to be there. I don't want to have conversations with any of those people. Right. I just feel down. They're not inspiring me to pour into them or provide them with any opportunities I may have at that point for them. And that's the same thing at any level. Leaders and people that want to pour into you are not going to approach you, are not going to spend the time out of their day to pour into you if you are just negative all the time, ever. Yeah. I do not want to have conversations. I would hate that. I would hate to pour into negative people with bad attitudes. That would be so draining for me as a human being. And as a leader, as an employer, as a manager, whatever role it is that I'm in, negative attitudes and people that are just not positive at all. And angry people. Just angry. Like they're just drains. And I want nothing to do with them. I'm never going to provide opportunity for them. It's not going to be a thing. Yeah. The people that are positive, enthusiastic about what they're doing, and that are genuinely happy to see you, you can feel it. And you want to spend time with those people. Yeah. You want to be around them. I want to give them everything. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. You'll open up your heart and your home and your wallet and all the things to them because you want them to succeed, right? You're willing to be selfless for them. Now, at the same time, This is a struggle for me every single day. How do I become that person? How do you become that person? To where people are just, they want to give everything because of our attitudes on a daily basis.
So here's the thing. It's a really good question. And there's so many things. Cause like you talking about like, you don't want to invest in those people that are like super negative. And it's funny because I am very black and white. I agree with you. It's hard, but the crappy thing about that, at some point in time, somebody looked at them and told them they weren't good enough, that they gave them bad advice. They were let down, whatever it was. And they gave up. Or they chose to embrace negativity from a leader that was negative, and they're like, that person got that way to that place of success because they're that way. Clearly, I need to be that way too. And it sucks because then you and I want to engage with people who are nothing but positive. And it's a lot of the time, it's not that person's fault. It could be, and I'm not talking, and keep in mind, like, I'm not talking about not investing in people who are just having a bad day or a bad month. And that's when you get that. Instead of, cutting someone, you look at them and go, are you okay? Like, I get that. And it's important to do that because there's a lot of great people that are just having a bad go and they just need support. And that's, as leaders, where we need to invest in them. Here's the thing. When you get to leadership, to a point where you're a CEO, where you're an owner, one of the most disappointing things ever, Bobby, is when somebody leads with what they presume is positive output, but they exude this essence of, you're not on my level, so I'm not going to engage with you. And that's why it's so hard to find people at a higher level that will invest in you. Everybody levels up in life. You've got, hey, I want to make $1 million. Hey, I want to make 10 million. And every time you get to that level, there's other people on that level.
Yeah.
But as you get up to those levels, I find like at the lower level, the best people are there. The best people with the best intentions and the biggest of hearts are there. But as you level up, those best people start to thin out. They represent a very small fraction of the people that are at that higher level. The thing about it is, I think if you go there searching for those people, then you're never going to get to that next level. You have to be the one that brings that to that place.
Yeah.
Because the people that are CEOs, exorbitantly rich, that literally are selfless, kind-hearted, faith-based, in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it can be any kind of faith, spiritually, God, universal, whatever you want to be. But those people that have that good balance and then look at someone that is on the starting level and say, hey, I got you, let's go, are the exception. They are not the rule. Like, there are so many CEOs out there that think they're doing incredible things. And when they get in front of a crowd, they do these incredible speeches that get people riled up. And then the second that lights off of them and that presentation's over, somebody, the smallest person that just looked at that person, went, you are my hero. I want what you're selling. I want you to show me what's going on. The second that happens and it's not in public eye, they're like, yeah, sure, book a meeting with me. And they turn around, they walk away because they don't have time for you, because you're not on my level, because I've got bigger fish to fry. And that's where that dichotomy, that weird, messed up balance occurs. Yeah. And like, you're going to be, if you want to be that one, going in searching for it is going to be way too hard. You got to be the one. You have to be the one that shows up and says, yeah, I am 10 million. You're not at 1 million. Let's get you to 10. Come up. Let's go. Let's rise together. We'll wrap this up. I want to try something this time.
Okay.
I want to do, because I think one of the big things that we can both admit to just from life is that it takes a tribe to grow and be and do. We obviously value you and Shayna as part of our tribe. There's more people in both of our tribes. And so I thought what would be good, because I always like to have in the most awkward like business circles and teams that I start with, I always like to go and shock them. And I'll go into a room and I'll be like, all right, guys, let's talk about what our intentions are today. But before we do that, let's talk about one thing that we're grateful for today. And everybody looks around the room like, are you serious right now? Like, you want to talk about vulnerability, sit in a room of people that know nothing about each other, only know each other at work, and then make them say one thing that they're grateful for, and suddenly it changes the mood. But what I think we should do is have a moment or a segment called Friends I'm Proud of.
Okay.
So do you have a friend that you can think of right now that's going through some incredible moments and you're like, yeah, I'm proud of this person?
Besides you, man?
Oh, come
Okay. Okay. Friends I'm proud of.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do that. Okay. I can do a bunch. I don't have any friends, so I'm kidding.
Pick one that you're proud of. We'll start there, and then I'll do one.
Yeah. So this is actually a really good friend plus coworker, David Voorhees.
Yeah.
You know David.
Yeah. I've been watching his success.
Yeah. He going through a lot of stuff right now. I'm not going to go into it on here.
Yeah, fair enough.
I may be going through some stuff and trying to be enthusiastic at work, but I can't all the time, obviously. But he's like taking it to another level, building out processes and procedures and ways to do things and getting people involved in ways that, I didn't even think of. Yeah. Well, he's making me look good at a certain level.
I have not physically seen him in probably like a year or so, but I follow him on Instagram because the KW family, all that stuff. He's lost some weight, man.
That too. Yeah, man.
He's grinding.
He works out every day of the week except for one day.
Good for him. If you don't know who David Voorhees is, follow him on Instagram or Facebook. He's got a great team.
Yeah. He actually merged his team with another team.
Oh. Which
was not my team, so.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
David.
No, but
never mind. We're going to cut this part.
No. Another good team, and he's actually lost like 60 or 80 pounds.
That's a lot, man. That's a human.
Yeah.
That's a teenager.
Yeah. I know. Not me when I was a teenager. No. Maybe a teenage girl.
I was all muscle. 80 pounds. Okay. Friends I'm proud of. So I've got a friend that is up in Canada. He's a buddy of mine, and he lives in Edmonton. His name's Mark Jones. He's someone that I'm proud of because he took a risk. He had a great career in the auto industry, and he put it all down so that he could go start his own business. And it was in the wrapping game of like wrapping cars, so like protective.
I thought you were going to say like presents.
Yeah, Christmas presents. Yeah, it's very seasonal work.
Yeah.
No, wrapping vehicles like with 3M, etc. And he knew it. He knew the game because he had done it at the dealerships he's been at, and he took a lot of risks to do it. I mean, they've got a little one, and his entrepreneurial spirit like took a bite out of him, and he worked really, really hard at it, and he's able now to be in a place where. He's selling that business, which is great for him, and moving on to something else. And I'm proud of him because it takes a lot of guts when you have a family to drop everything and follow a dream that you've had. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't talk about that, like all the failures. And you and I have talked about that with you guys, like how you guys like had struggles and like had businesses that you did, but it all led you to somewhere. And I'm proud of him because he took the risk. And he worked really hard at it, and now he's going to take from those learnings and move it on to something even better. So,
okay.
Who else you got?
Who else? So I could probably throw out there. Actually, we had a comment from Josh Baker.
Josh Baker?
Yeah.
I don't know Josh Baker.
No, you don't know Josh.
Okay.
He actually spoke at my wedding. 10 years ago.
I wasn't invited.
No. Yeah. It was before I knew you.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But I was going to have him marry us, but I don't think he wanted to do that. Spoke at my wedding. He went to A&M with me. And recently went out on a limb and started his own business. And the business called Good News Cup. It's a coffee shop. He's got like his Instagram. Follow that. It's pretty great. Good News Cup. But anyways, jumping out, he texted me today, and he was hiring his first people.
Cool.
Moved to a location, like built it up I think they were operating out of a drugstore at one point. And then, hiring his first people, and he's like struggling through that. Once you get the people, that's the hardest part about business. People are the hardest part about business. Yeah. It's not selling, it's people.
It's scaling up with people that are good. Yeah.
Yeah. And so hiring people and going through that process, but he's going through it and he's struggling through it and figuring out what that means to be a leader, to be an entrepreneur. Proud of him for getting that moment because, a lot of people just give up when they get to that point.
Yeah, the second that people realize, oh my God, I need more people, everyone's like, this is a great problem to have. And then you get people, and then you start having to manage those people and setting goals for them and expectations. And then you have to look at them and go, hey, you're not doing enough. And they look at you and go, neither are you. And then you start fighting, and it gets like People are the worst. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. That's awesome. That's great. That's a good one. Friends I'm proud of. So my wife's friend, Courtney, her husband, Aaron, is a professional athlete. So Aaron is playing hockey overseas.
That's not a real sport.
Hockey's the best sport ever. It's a great friendship too, because like not only they're amazing people, but they are also a dual citizen relationship like me and my wife. So Courtney's from Texas, Aaron's from Canada. Go figure, the hockey player from Canada. Anyways,
why aren't you a hockey player? You weren't good at hockey.
I was not good at hockey.
Okay.
Let's just leave it at that, Bobby. I don't think we need to get into it.
Tutus and spins and jumps.
No, I was never a figure skater.
Oh, that one.
Bobby.
That's the name.
Anyways, so Aaron and Courtney are overseas right now because Aaron plays professional hockey overseas. Yep. And one of the things that is great about him is that he's a great guy, a great leader, like one of the nicest guys you've ever met. Like when you're talking about pro athletes, you never know what they're going to be like, but like grounded, humble, smart, funny, super caring, all of the great things that you like about people. The reason why I'm proud of him is this last 2 years, he's playing in England. Not only did he go back to play, but he also is enrolled in higher education. And that takes a lot. It takes a lot to not only be a professional athlete, but to also try and get your degree while you're doing that and being a dad and being a husband and all of the things. And he's crushing it. And that to me is something that's extremely admirable because he took this challenge on and decided to turn it into something that's going to be exceptional. I have no doubt that he's going to crush it. And on top of that, he's going to be an amazing leader for so many other up and coming pro athletes. And he's going to lead them into an amazing place. So proud of him. I think that takes a lot of guts as a grown man to say, I want more. Mm-hmm. And especially as a pro athlete, when so many other athletes out there, they just automatically expect everything is given to them, including opportunities after, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, proud of him. He's done an amazing thing. And I think he's setting a track for all kinds of athletes. Good, man. This is great. You were right. We should just wing it and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some good stuff. Just a bunch of musings. Yeah. Follow up to last time. And then some other good things. We may need to piece this together.
Yeah. Don't worry, I got that.
Yeah, you're the expert. But
thanks so much for listening, guys.
Yeah, this was awesome. Hopefully you got some good stuff out of it. Next time we are definitely gonna have guests.
Yes.
And we're going to, have a defined okay now what moment. And go through that. Find some good stories. If anything, we got Shayna. We're getting Shayna on in her Okinawan moments with when she jumps, first decided to be a female entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. We're probably going to get Joy on in her Okinawan moments. And then
Maria.
Yep.
And Kiona.
Yep. Yeah. And their stuff.
A lot of things.
So excited about that. We want to finish about 10 more episodes before the end of the year.
Yep.
This year's kind of been a kickoff, and it's been a crazy few months, and been inconsistent because your wife's pregnant.
Yeah.
I've got crazy stuff happening. We were in Italy for 2 weeks. It's been a crazy few months.
Yeah. All good things though. More episodes up and coming, as Bobby mentioned. We're going to have a lot of guests coming up in the next few episodes. And if you have any questions, follow us on the OK Now What Show on Facebook and the OK Now What Show on Instagram. Message us if you guys are interested to be on the show. Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.